I actually wasn't even looking at this, I'm trying to keep my eyes out.
Pick a reference and keep it on the nose,
Yeah.
right? All looking good?
Alright, do we broadcast that we're going to enter the runway?
Yes, so we're going to broadcast executive traffic, Cherokee 32042, taking off runway 7 with a left turn to the west.
Okay. Executive traffic, Cherokee 32042, taking off runway 7, left turn to the west, executive traffic.
Release the Kraken!
Perfect, man. Let's do it. So remember, what's our rotation speed?
65?
Correct. What's VY?
76.
76. So 65, 76. We'll get to around 700 feet or so, make a left turn towards the west, and then we'll take it from there, man.
Okay, 777. Go for it.
Perfect, let's do it. Heels to the floor. And remember those left turning tendencies,
Right.
so nice right rudder in there to keep the center line.
Okay, 65, we're going to rotate. Ooh.
You got it, you got it. And that hand on the throttle.
Oh, sorry.
Still 1,000 feet, remember? Cool, man. Nice takeoff, though. Very, very nice.
Takes nerves of steel to be an instructor.
Man, I'm sat here, none of me was on the controller, that was all you.
I'll try to get the hang of it.
Yeah, you will. It's like the second flight, you know?
I think.
So going through 1,000 feet, you can do the climb checklist.
The climb flaps, there's no flaps. Fuel pump off. Engine instruments check. EY, we're a little fast.
A little bit fast, right? So engine instruments are down here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so level it off at 13.
Yes, sir.
Pull back a little bit so you don't speed up.
Yes. Around 2,200 RPM or so. Is good.
A little bit.
So you want to set the power before you trim.
Oh, okay.
Because when you reduce the power again, you have to retrim.
So
there you go. Bring that power back. Down to 22.
In about 5 minutes, staying in pattern.
I know there's a lot going on, but it's fly the plane and then worry about everything else, you know.
what's the old saying? Aviate, navigate, communicate.
Exactly. Always fly the plane first. So you can look. You got the power setting 22. You got the altitude where we want it. Now you can start worrying about everything else. You know, we're departing the area to the west, so you can let executive traffic know that that's what we're doing.
Executive traffic, Cherokee 32042, departing airspace to the west. Executive traffic.
Golden.
And hopefully I got it down this time. Well, there's no wind, so maybe that'll help me out with the S-turns.
Yeah.
But with the tailwind, you have a steeper turn because it's pushing you. With the headwind, you have a shallower.
Exactly.
I wanted to get that down after
Yeah.
last time.
Nice.
So I'm kind of curious because usually in sim, the takeoffs are easy peasy and the landings take a little bit.
Yeah.
But in reality, the takeoffs have some work to it. So I'm wondering what the landings are going to be like.
Landings are a bitch. I'm telling you. Landings are the most difficult part of what we do. You can get the rest of it, you can get the slow flight down, you can get stalls, steep turns, all that. When it comes to the landing, it's because there's so many different variables.
Right.
Winds, crosswinds, other traffic. If you don't fly the traffic pattern well, airspeed control, you know, it's so many different things. So what do we do before any maneuver?
Clearing turns? Oh, the checklist.
Pre-maneuver checklist, and clearing turns are part of the checklist. Okay. So let's do that.
Pre-maneuver, okay. Mixture is rich. Landing lights on. Fuel pump on. Fuel selector, fullest tank. Should we keep using the same tank?
Give it a switch. So what are you checking once you switch the tanks?
That the pressure is good.
Yes, sir.
Minimum safe altitude. And then clearing turns and radio call. I think when we get there, right?
Yeah.
And pick out a landing spot.
Yes.
So none of this swampy stuff.
Yeah.
There's no one on the highways. No, we'll stay away. There was a field, I think, over there you showed me to the, it should be at the top right, correct?
Yeah, yeah. And as you said before, there's no wind, so it should be easier. It should be easier. As far as the entry is concerned, no matter which way we go, it doesn't really matter. But if there was a wind, you'd want to enter with the wind in front or behind?
You want to enter with a wind behind you.
Wind behind you, exactly, on the downwind.
What's a good airspeed to be doing this at?
So below VA in this thing, VA is
108.
Thank you. So anything below that, usually about 100 knots or so. And if you've got yourself set up at about 2200 RPM, 2200 and leveled, that should keep you around 100 knots, between 90 and 100. So you'll be below the manoeuvring speed. Do you remember what manoeuvring speed is? Not the number, but as far as like...
has to do with not overstressing the airframe?
Yeah, the max speed that you can stall the aircraft and not cause structural damage.
You want to cross over at wings level and then start the turn right away, right?
Yes, sir.
Here we are, wings level. Crossing over the road.
So just look at that airspeed. That airspeed's gone too high. There you go. Just watch that altitude as well. A lot better than last time, right?
Yeah, well, I got the wind. Now with us.
The only criticism I've got of what happened there was, as we started the manoeuvre, we had a high power setting.
Okay.
So in the first turn it was fine, but when we came out of it and we started to play with the lose pitch, and we increased speed because the power setting was a little bit too high. So you want to set yourself up before you even start the manoeuvre. Have your power setting, have yourself stabilised. 1,000 feet. You make sure you don't have to do anything with
the throttle, right?
Yeah, with the throttle. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you're set up for success in that manoeuvre as far as the actual reference in the manoeuvre. Referencing the ground, which was better than last time, so that's all I needed to see.
Okay.
The altitude control and the power control is going to come. It's our second full flight together. So,
Thank
all
you.
right, we're going to climb up and we're going to do some slow flights. So let's go up to 2,500 feet, please, sir, and just keep me in this vicinity.
Okay. Over the lake or just?
Just on the shore.
Okay.
Yeah. There's two variations of it, like I said before. You've got with flaps and without, commonly referred to as clean, without
Dirty.
flaps, and dirty, absolutely filthy. The airlines are going to love how smooth you are with this stuff, man.
I appreciate
Nice and graceful. You stable?
believe so, yes.
Cool. Mic controls.
Air controls.
Mic controls. We've done the clearing turns. Pre-manoeuvre checklist is done just to verify, make sure edge fuel pump, landing light, we're on the fullest tank. Landing point, there's plenty of fields down there as far as emergencies are concerned. I'm going to bug west, because that's the heading that I'm going to do the manoeuvre on. Two kind of power settings that I want you to remember in slow flight: 1700 and 2000.
Okay.
So your initial is 1700. That's how you're gonna bring the power back. You set on the ground how we maintain altitude when we do that. How do we do that?
I maintain altitude with the power.
With the power, and then how do you control airspeed?
With the pitch.
So when I pull power back now, how am I going to maintain altitude?
By pitching up.
Pitching up. What's that going to do to the airspeed?
Lower it.
Perfect. So we're going to go 1700 RPM, and all I'm doing initially is trying to maintain altitude. I immediately have to pitch up to maintain, and you can see what's happening to the airspeed.
Bleeding off, right.
So we're below or within the white arc, 1 notch of flaps. That helps me keep altitude. Second notch of flaps at about 75. That helps me again maintain altitude. We're coming up to 65 knots with 3 notches of flaps. I'm at 2,500 feet, and I'm going to increase my power to 2,000 RPM. That's where that power setting comes back in.
Okay.
So now we're flying along in slow flight at around 60 knots at 2,500 feet on west, and this is slow flight. Now, let's say my altitude's increasing slightly. I got a vertical speed that's going up a little bit. How would I rectify that situation as far as altitude is concerned?
Altitude with the pitch.
Try again.
Oh, with the power. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So we'll just reduce the power a little bit. At a certain point, the vertical speed should drop off. And there it goes. And notice how I'm not doing any like large adjustments. Like if I dropped it, then it's really going to drop off. See how the nose wants to drop?
Right.
That's how we stall. It's not large power adjustments, it's just adjustments as necessary to get it to do what you want it to do. So my speed is a little bit lower than I would like it. How do I fix that situation?
With your pitch.
With my pitch. So I'm going to pitch down a little bit to increase that airspeed. But as I do that, airspeed's increasing, but also my vertical speed is going down. Okay. So I've got to descend. So I need to add a little bit of power back in.
Okay.
To maintain 25, and oh look, I'm at my airspeed and I'm back at that original power setting that I said, which was 2,000 RPM.
So if I know that the slow flight is the segue to landings, correct?
Yes.
So is it when you're on approach and you're sinking, that's why you increase the power?
On approach, for example, instead of being nose up, you're maintaining an airspeed with nose down.
Okay.
So if we're coming down and I wanted to maintain 65 knots, I've got to play with the power and play with the pitch a little bit as well to maintain that 65. So I'm pitching for 65 and I'm using power control for the altitude. So if I want to descend, we know that if I pull the power back at 65 knots, my aircraft's going to descend.
Okay.
And as I play with the pitch,
You're
I'm going to get back to
speed.
65. So that's why the slow flight thing is so important, so you can learn how to do that. This is a good example as well. We're way too low now because we did that. So now I do have to go full power
To climb.
while maintaining that same airspeed. I'm pitching for that airspeed still on west, and I've got a good climb rate going. And if we wanted to, there's not much aileron control. You can see that's not doing much for us, going side to side. So for turns, you just push a little bit left rudder. If you want to go left, go left.
Okay. Are the ailerons affected because of the flaps being extended, or?
They're affected because of the reduced airflow.
Oh, okay.
So the flaps are giving us that extra lift, but of course there's not much airflow going over those wings at the moment, so the aileron is affected.
Okay.
So your controls.
My controls.
Alright man, westbound, stabilise yourself, and whenever you're ready, we'll go into it, starting with the 1700 RPM, and you'll need to hold the nose up to maintain altitude.
Okay. So we're going to drop to 1700.
1700. As you're doing it, simultaneous back pressure, hold the altitude. Perfect. So we're within the white arc, so you can add 1 notch flaps. You're going to feel what that does for you. Feel that keep the nose up for you.
Yep.
Alright, perfect. We've maintained altitude, maintained heading. 75, 2nd notch flaps. Again, going to help you maintain. Perfect. 2,500 westbound, last notch flaps. And then we'll get the power to 2,000 RPM as a baseline. Sweet. Now, look at that airspeed.
Oh, dropping.
Slightly low, right? So how do we play with the airspeed? What do we do with
Pitch.
the airspeed? Pitch, exactly. So just pitch the nose down a little bit. There you go. You got your pitch, your airspeed back. Perfect. Very, very nice. I know that pitch has gone too high. You put it back to what it was. So bring that pitch down a little bit.
Sorry.
You're okay. Your altitude control is glorious.
It's like you have to rewire your brain because you're thinking altitude, you gotta...
Right,
yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, you're pitching for that airspeed, power for the altitude, but your power, with a baseline of around 2,000 RPM, your power is usually okay. You don't have to play with it too much in this plane. Cool man, you're on westbound, you've got a good airspeed around 60, between 60 and 65, and you're holding it, just hold it for a little bit. Hold it, stabilise, enjoy it, you know? Cool man, 60 to 65, 2,500, you've got it. Alright, so give me a left turn and we'll go to 150. So if you bug 150, and remember, a little bit of rudder. Not too much, just nice and easy in the turn. And of course, while we turn, maybe increase the back pressure a little bit. With what you're looking at now, you're golden. Your airspeed's fine, this is fine. So just take me around to 150. So this is slightly low as well. That's about 100 RPM low.
So you want to increase it.
So you want to increase it a little bit. Alright, give me a left turn to the direct eastbound, please. We'll take you back towards the lake. Nice, easy banking, nice rudder control. Very, very nice. If the aircraft stalled, how would you recover from it?
Nose down.
Nose down, what else?
And rudder to keep you level, right?
Absolutely, what else?
Power up.
Power up, so nose down, power, maintain rudder control. what I want to do is kind of get you to feel you've done the nose high, right? So which is the normal slow flight. So on your check ride, this is what you'll show the examiner. I want to kind of do nose low, alright? I want you to maintain around 65 knots, which is our approach speed, with a nice nose low. So pitch us over, pitch us forward, and then bring that power way back. So you can kind of pitch to maintain 65 knots. So yeah, there you go. And then just pitch for 65, so it's a little bit high. You bring that pitch up a little bit, but you can see 65 knots, nice nose low. Imagine we're pointing the aircraft towards the runway.
Right.
Okay. Beautiful. Alright. Power idle. Hold the nose up. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Just keep it up as if you're just maintaining altitude.
Stall.
Yep. Bring it back. All the way back. All the way back. We're going to let the plane stall. All the way back. All the way back. Nice rudder control. All the way back. Keep it coming back. That is a stall. See how easy this thing stalls.
Yeah.
It's no issue whatsoever. How do we recover from it? Nose down, full power. All the way forward with the power. You just stalled an aeroplane, my friend. So
we didn't fall out of the sky. Look at that.
exactly. It's so easy, and you maintained heading within check ride standards, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I actually wasn't even looking at this. I'm trying to keep my eyes out.
Pick a reference and keep it on the nose, right?
Okay, so we're at 25. We want to reduce power, right?
Exactly. So you want to get it back to that baseline 2,000 RPM, right? Alright, man. 2,500 feet, around 60 to 65 knots. We're back to where we were after stalling like a genius. Cool. So, remove 1 notch of flaps. I want you to maintain around the same airspeed and the same altitude. What did you feel when you took out the flap?
The nose goes down.
Nose goes down, you lose a bit of lift, right? So you got to play with that pitch a little bit. So, reduce, retract another notch of flaps. Even more. So you got to play with it even more. Your speed's increasing.
Speed is with the pitch.
Yes.
Altitude a little bit too, so we need a little bit less.
Exactly, yes sir. Just maintain your heading as well. We're going off to the left a little bit. Reduce the last notch of flaps. Even more. So you've got to play with it even more to get it to where you need it. I personally find that slow flight without flaps is
harder, I feel.
Harder.
Like. Yeah.
Yep. You've got to do a lot more to maintain it where you want it. So airspeed's slightly high, so let's correct that. Perfect. Keep it around 65. See if you can get it to 65 with the 2,500. If you need to trim, you can trim.
Yeah, the tremendous amount of pressure on us.
Feet gonna do one more lap around the lake in a clockwise direction, like the positive traffic.
So from what I can see, you're understanding the relationship between what we're doing here. So the stall that we just did was a power off stall. Power off stall mimics the landing stall. So stalling the landing configuration. In the takeoff configuration, it's a little bit different. The feeling is a little bit different. The left turning tendencies are felt a lot more. What we're going to do is we're going to do a power on stall. Okay, so it's going to require quite a lot of right rudder, and you'll feel it. You just got to keep that in mind, keeping that rudder in there. The way that I look at it, if I'm looking at the nose where I'm going and I can see it going to the left side, I need more rudder. Okay. Don't worry about looking at your instruments. You know, you'll feel and see when you need more rudder. So let's do that. So we're at 65, which is our takeoff rotation speed. So go full power and pitch up. It's going to take quite a lot of pitch to do this. So just pitch up nice and easy as you're doing. Keep it coming back. Keep it coming back. All the way back. All the way back. You can see the nose going off to the left already. So get that right rudder in there. There you go. All the way back on the controls. All the way back. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Don't be timid. You feel the buffet? That's your indication of a stall. Keep it coming. All the way back. And the nose wants to go away. So, nose down. Onto the horizon. The heading went off a little bit, that's fine. I'm not really worried about that today. And then you can recover the whole manoeuvre, so you can go back to a normal cruise flight at 2,500 feet. So get that nose down and go back to cruise. Alright man, 2,000 RPM. We're gonna go home. Now you can start pushing the nose over because we do want to start at a slight descent. Hold the nose to the end of the runway. Just look to the end of the runway and just keep the nose held back there.
That is going to take work, though.
Yep.
I think
See,
absolutely.
it's work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. It's so many different things that you got to think about before you're doing it.